complexity on the dire. And you heard my name. My name is Luminous from dotacommentaries.com, and my illustrious co-caster today is LD from dotacommentaries.com as well. These things do not matter anymore as they are already set to stone. This is a practice match for both of these players. Best of 3 series coming your way. I'm hoping for some exciting Dota because, as we've seen, some of the other teams that, when their placement has been decided, they are going some crazy strat. We saw Infuse double jungling up with Ursa and Skeleton King. We saw a whole bunch of crazy stuff, and it's complexity, so I'm hoping to see some fun strat for them as well. LD, any expectation for today's games?
5-man push, level 1 rush. That's what I'm expecting after yesterday. Anything less will be a disappointment. But if you didn't check that game out, definitely worth a watch. We just cast that one for the defense yesterday, and it was certainly entertaining. Of course, there's no time ratings for the Premier League, and in any case, like Louis said, because it's a league format, both of these teams not in the money, and they have no chance of getting there. So it is purely for practice, and well, off the bat, I can already say I'm a little disappointed because Wisp is getting banned, and I really feel like we should let all these heroes through, at least the fun ones. But that being said, Rubik will be available, and well, we saw, I think it was IG ran him solo mid in It's Gosu Monthly Madness yesterday, and they were pretty successful from what I heard. I didn't get to watch the match, but I was reading a bit about it. So Rubik solo mid, I think it can work out well, get that quick level 6 and use it to set up some kills.
Yeah, it's definitely really rough, or really baffling why I don't see him pick more than he is picked. I've seen him in 1 or 2 games perhaps, but he lanes very decently. If that alone is the reason that he's picked, just try him out.
Yeah,
teams are just not.
It's not even for the ult. I mean, Rubik is a very strong hero aside from his ult. Of course, he's flashy. When you see the big WoW Dota plays, it's usually featuring, a black hole steal, time walk steal, and then leap away. These sorts of exciting plays. But his nukes are strong, and that passive that gives the entire team magic resistance, that is outrageously good, especially if you want to push. It's almost like having a free pipe for your team, or not quite a pipe, but pretty close. It really helps the creeps stay alive too. So. Or the heroes, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, of course, whenever you steal a spell and multiple spells throughout the game, suddenly you're adding 2 or 3 extra disables to your team that the enemy team can't do anything about it. So, again, we see Chaos Knight enjoying his popularity, and he is picked up first for Virtus Pro. Now, Shadow Demon is the
so you pick him
people
here, right?
that the hero that destroys complexity Chaos Knight. Let's see if they're still having a nightmare about that and picking it up themselves. It's just so good against the offensive nature of Chaos Knight. And that Purge, of course, always good against melee heroes.
Yeah, at the same time, Shadow Demon, he's okay paired with Chaos Knight, but it's not really a match made in heaven. Disruption can set things up, but Chaos Knight doesn't need setup. He just needs additional chain stun and lockdown. And while Chaos Knight does some damage, he doesn't do a crazy amount early game. So Soul Catcher is not really going to necessarily guarantee kills. So as strong as Shadow Demon is as a support, I don't think he's the best support to run with Chaos Knight. So what I'm trying to say here is that while Virtus Pro might pick him, it's not obvious they will, at least not based on the Chaos Knight. Of course, Shadow Demon very versatile. If you want to go for something like Invoker, the early Sunstrike build, Leshrac is banned out. That's one of the other favorites. But there are definitely other ways to work him into the lineup. But yeah, Shadow Demon's certainly an option here. Panda is available as well. I swear I was about to say it, but there you go. He gets picked up by complexity. A lot of team fight. And there's a hero that definitely benefits from the setup of Shadow Demon. Nice 1-2 combo here for complexity.
Yeah, I mean, don't get us wrong. Soul Catcher is always good, no matter what situation. As long as you're doing damage, it's good.
It's just not optimal.
But Chaos Knight requires the support of Ancient Aberration a little bit more, or a Crystal Maiden who has a slow, who has the stun. And he basically just is a single target killing machine. And when there's any sentence that has a single target in it, Shadow Demon pops up and be like, well, I do have one of the best defensive shadow single target disables or help spells, whatever you want to call it, protection spells.
It works great in the early game. Now, all that being said, if the game goes late, Chaos Knight gets that level 3 Phantasm up. Well, Shadow Demon's not going to offer you a whole lot. He can try to disrupt an ally who's being attacked, but that army of illusions can mow through a hero just about instantly. I've seen a lot of games recently where a hero like Shadow Demon gets reality rifted in to 4 illusions, and maybe the Chaos Knight has an armlet and shreds, and the support dies instantly before they can do anything.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
Early game, yes, very strong counter. Late game, not so much.
Late game, that's when the Purge kicks in. Sure, the illusions will still be able to do damage, but the actual heroes will be so immobile that he won't be drop off multiple Reality Rift and multiple Chaos Bolt, which is definitely matter. Because in the past, we were saying that Chaos Bolt casually being a 4-second stun, and it wrecks team fights. And that's when you purge him and you try to limit his mobility. Enigma and Queen of Pain is going to be the pick here from Virtus Pro. Two very mobile heroes. I say Enigma's a mobile hero. He doesn't seem like it, but he will get a Blink Dagger, I imagine. If not, he's going to be a very tanky Enigma with utility like, Vanguard or a Pipe. Or excuse me, not Vanguard, Mecha or a Pipe or Arcane Boots. In any case, he's going to be doing some sort of supportive stuff for his team. Of course, we know he's going to be pushing Queen of Pain. Let's see what lane he's going to be going into. She might not even go in the mid. Chaos Knight might actually head there with another support.
They have a very flexible lineup as far as the lanes go. Chaos Knight could farm the safe lane. He can dual lane mid. Enigma and Queen of Pain can both off lane. Generally, the Europeans don't run her as an off laner. That seems to be more of an Asian thing, but it's certainly a possibility if you need it. So a lot of flexibility here, and of course Enigma can go into the jungle too. There are other options I haven't mentioned, but plenty of decisions for them. If whatever they want to go with, they can. They do need a support here, that's for sure. So one thing that we might see from Complexity in this next set of bans, ban out Crystal Maiden, Ancient Apparition you mentioned, and really, it is Chaos Knight's absolute best friend in the world. Gives you a lot of teamfight too. And if you combo that up with a Black Hole, the Queen of Pain's burst damage, well, these heroes could melt, and maybe you kill that panda before he gets off his ultimate.
So we see Invoker being picked up by Complexity, and here's the worry I have. Many times in the past, when I see Chaos Knight being picked in the game, generally they go dual lane mid. And Invoker, as strong of as he's solo hero, he's definitely unable to handle a dual lane mid.
Yeah, that's a really bad lane for him too. They have so much initiation range, he can't really approach the creeps.
Exactly. And also, we've seen teams like, well, Invoker can't solo by himself, so let's actually throw another hero to help him out. So in this case, it may be Shadow Demon, it may be another support that Complexity decides to pick up. But that's not really the best of situation that you want Invoker in to be in that situation either, because he wants a solo EXP. So maybe we're going to see Invoker kind of being thrown out on the side lane. We're going to see something like a Shadow Demon Panda on the mid and kind of have a 2v2, dual lane versus dual lane going up, and I think that might actually work out a little bit better for Complexity.
I'm with you on that one, and you have a Shadow Demon, perfect setup for the Sunstrike. Invoker doesn't need to be mid at all, and this is a game where if it's Queen of Pain mid, he'll be fine. If it's a dual lane mid, he's going to struggle. He's okay versus Enigma. We have seen solo mid Enigmas here and there. Not sure if Virtus Pro will run that, but yeah, I agree. If it's the dual lane mid, that's not where Invoker wants to be, and it really doesn't matter what orb he goes, Exhort or Wex, he will still be food for those heroes. Especially if they get an early Observer Ward up on the hill, they can spot him out and Reality Rift him in. The range of that spell is enormous. Nice ban here by Complexity, taking away the Ancient Apparition. There are still other supports who can work well with the Chaos Knight, so it's not a total solution, but it's a start.
I mean, look at how odd this draft has been. We are 8 bans in, 6 picks in, Enchantress and Chen. Not even cared about by either team.
Yeah, that's true.
And this is a strange thing. Complexity loves to run their Chen. A lot of their offenses is done by that Chen. So don't be surprised if you see Complexity either ban out Crystal Maiden here or Enchantress and pick something like a Chen in the second pick phase. Now, they don't have the first pick out of the ban phase, so if they do something like that, well, there's Enchantress ban, so I'm not sure if that's a signal coming from Virtus Pro. Let's see how Fluff and Sub react to this, because if you give away such a late pick to a Chen to enemy team, it really renders your... It's hard to pick against that. Chen is such a versatile hero in terms of what he can do in the game, in terms of pushes. There you go, Crystal Maiden ban. So if Virtus Pro wants to pick it in Chen right now, he is picking it up, and there's really no counters, and that's exactly what we see from Virtus Pro.
Yeah, there's no Ancient Apparition, and that is one of the best ways to deal with the Chen, at least in the mid-game, denying his healing power, as well as the mechanism, as well as the ultimate. Ancient Apparition can do that for you, but, well, Complexity banned out themselves, so nice adjustment here by Virtus Pro. And I guess the question is, where does Complexity want to take this game? They have a lot of team fight, they have a lot of burst damage, especially if they go for the Exhort build, which I expect we'll see. Normally when there's a Shadow Demon on the team, Invoker goes for early Sunstrike. Do they want to go with some sort of a pushing hero like a lone Druid, a strong laner? Will they opt for maybe the Juggernaut? It's something they've run in the past here or there. Beastmaster is also in the pool, and I almost think you have to pick him just to deny another strong pushing aura / hero to Virtus Pro, but they're going to go for Tiny, so all in on the burst damage here is Complexity.
We're going to see some TC Tiny. I still remember the days where he's carrying it up with the Axe Scepter, and it really is going to add a big deal physical damage. Now, in terms of a carry versus carry situation, I'm going to give the Snipe nod to Chaos Knight because he just scales better, but don't forget Kraken Shell and how annoying it is. Suddenly, even if you have illusions, it's going to get stunned up.
Oh, you mean Craig exterior, yeah.
craggy exteriors, there you go. And of course, I mean, Tiny's got that AoE, so Phantasm or not, they will take a lot of burst damage and get brought down. And never mind the Acceptor, because it will give him a whole bunch of cleave. So if you know, the Dire goes late game, and Complexity, you know, they love to go late game. They're a team that isn't known to push fast and furious. They like to turn up late and play a very methodical, long game. Tiny's not a bad hero for that. I mean, he may be a nuker early on, but late game situation, he can push, he can siege towers with the best of other heroes.
Well, we've certainly seen Korok showcase the power of this Tiny in the past, and you know, Complexity also being from North America, they scrimmage a lot together. I'm sure they are very familiar with the late game potential of Tiny, and based on their lineup, he probably is the best late game hero. Invoker can be a very strong utility hero. You can try to build him for damage. We've seen... Oh, I forget who it was. I think there was a team that ran a jungling Invoker pretty recently. I want to say it was an Eastern European team, and later he ended up, you know, getting a MKB and going for right click. But you already have Tiny, you really don't need it. So it's a batrider, and well, very strong laning hero, more ganking power. Lumi, what do you make of this one?
It's a strong laning hero, but I'll tell you, it's not going to be in lane. This is going to be a jungle bat.
Really? Yeah, I guess they have the room for it.
No, I mean they have to put him in the jungle to make the room for other heroes. Can you like what if we don't have a jungle bat? What is the laning situation?
It's pretty awkward. You're right. I guess what they could you can't. They don't have anyone who could go off lane. That's really the problem here. They don't have a a Windrunner or Queen of Pain. I was gonna say they could dual lane mid and dual lane top and just have one of these heroes pulling up there, but I mean they're very level dependent. This is a tough lineup for Complexity. In the early stages against a Chen and Enigma, you're running a jungler. They're already so strong in lane, plus the Chaos Knight Venomancer. Queen of Pain as well, a great laner. This is going to be tough for Complexity in the early stages, but if they can pull it off, man, they have a great mid-game lineup.
Yeah, I mean, Complexity is like, well, I hope we don't lose in 20 minutes, because after that point, we're going to have a grand old time. Fluff and Stuff is going to be playing the Batrider. He generally does play that jungler off kind of hero, so very likely that Batrider will be going to jungle. We'll know in just a bit. IX Mike on that Shadow Demon. JL playing the Invoker TC on the Big Tiny, and the last hero would be a Panda being handled by Hannah Montana, and that seems like that's their long lane, a solo Panda.
Well, Lumi, I will just remind you that we saw this from Navi. Who were they playing again? I can't remember. But they ran the jungle Batrider, and, well, spoiler alert, I suppose, it didn't work out too well.
Well, they picked 4 carry in that game.
Yeah, so. But that's one to keep an eye on. Either way, we have NS heading mid, rushing the bottle on Queen of Pain. And, of course, Virtus Pro, I think they have a 2-man roster right now, so a bunch of stand-ins here. Pingvin, 007, Clan War on the Chen. Maybe heading up. He's going to send a creep back to base. And so this top lane really going to be pulled back to start. Santa on the Enigma as well. So it won't be a double deny, but it's pretty close. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm just going to call him 1, 2 on the Venomancer. And JJJ on the Chaos Knight. Strong dual lane bottom here.
Yeah, I'm looking at the lanes here on the Radiant side, and they're probably most textbook lane, as textbook as it can get for a Dota lineup. It's just so good. You have a jungler, you have a good long lane on the top. It's going to get deny help, of course, from the Chen for the first wave. Queen of Pain, one of the best solo mid, and if you look in the other side of the river, I don't know what Complexity is doing, but let's hope they don't, go down 0-8.
Well,
because if you go down 0-8 early on, like, it doesn't matter if you have the best strategy. I think we cast the game yesterday, had a very creative lineup, but they just lost too much early on, and they never was able to execute it. So for the sake of Complexity, I want to see them execute this lineup, and it really needs to go past the 20 or 15-minute mark without losing, 5-10 heroes.
Nobody in the off lane yet. This is curious. I think they're gonna roll. Okay, they're gonna roll to. Is it gonna be Fluff and Stuff and Hannah Montana dual lady bottom? They're both headed that direction. Maybe an offensive jungle from him? I have no clue. Your guess is as good as mine, guys. Quad lane mid, perhaps. This is not a good pushing lineup, so what is Complexity doing? Oh boy. Well, Lumi, I will say if there's ever a game to experiment, this is it. There's no money at stake. It's really essentially it's an official scrimmage. So
yes,
they're gonna send the Panda down to the off lane, and well, he's gonna have a hell of a time doing a whole lot here. Chaos Knight Venomancer can easily kill him. As tanky as Panda is, he's in the off lane, which means it's a much longer distance to run if you have to escape. And Venomancer, Chaos Knight, such good chasing heroes.
When you're saying doing a whole lot, you mean doing nothing, right? Because he's basically going to sit next
Oh
to
no,
his tower.
I said not doing a whole lot. He will not be
good,
doing
good. There's nothing he's going to be doing other than sitting there. Fluff and stuff seems to be offensive jungling, but unfortunately he's going to run into a Chen. And that's not the hero you want to run into in the jungle. I mean, he might not be the biggest DPS early on,
especially as a Batrider,
but he will work Batrider good.
Yeah, Batrider's not going to have a good time if he runs with this Chen. Looks like 2 ships passing out. A little bit of scouting here by the sticky napalm. Perhaps try to steal that pull camp, but Chen coming around now. Venomancer as well. Chaos Bolt on didn't have him on 10, and he just can't escape this one. This could be a very easy first blood. The clap, actually maybe the turnaround here. Look at that Panda. Absolutely nothing except a level 1 clap, and still he does his best. In the end, first blood claimed here. And well, you know, we said complexity at a good start. That's not the start you want. Still 4 stacks of sticky napalm up on the Chen. Maybe you leave the bat. I mean, you gotta send someone into the jungle. Batrider's not accomplishing anything here as a support.
Well, I mean, he really needs level 2 to actually have any real supporting going on. He can napalm all he wants, but there's no really real threat without him picking up that Firefly. And with Panda dead for a little bit, he can pick up that level 2, or at least try to do so. But again, very, very careful. We never know when that Venomancer is popping out of jungle. That one war in the jungle is helping out for now, but they gotta make sure they don't get galed up by the Venomancer. Back in the mid lane here, seems like NS is having an okay time. He's got 3 lasted, 3 deny. Shadow Demon getting the best of her, preventing her to do too much. And TC just lasting away 9 and 5 already. This is what you want to see from a duo versus solo. And we talked about the situation earlier about how Invoker can't handle dual lanes. Queen of Pain may be handling a little bit better, but not by much, judging from how this lane's going.
Well, speaking of that Invoker, taking a lot of harassment up top. Really nice play here from Santa. He is running very low on mana. He's going to have to start using Clarities just to be able to stay in lane. Well, here's the thing about this dual lane mid, Lumi, is the Queen of Pain, as survivable as she is, disruption into an avalanche, if they can get the timing off, the toss on top of it, that will be enough to kill her, especially around that level 4 or 5 mark. The thing is, avalanche is very difficult to time properly when you combine it with disruption, because the avalanche animation hits immediately, but the stun takes place like a split second later. So a little bit trickier than something like Split Earth, where as soon as the animation shows up, it's going to land. Probably not a combo they practice as much, but they're definitely going to get that practice here.
Yeah, and the odd thing about this combo is, you know, the disruption will hit, your soul catcher will hit, the avalanche will hit, like you mentioned, but that toss, you never really know what you're tossing up.
Yeah,
because there's going to be 2 illusions being created by Shadow Demon, and if you toss the wrong illusion, that will be enough time for NS to blink out. But in any case, we do see a smoke gank coming on the mid lane, the ward, and of course, the fact that they had to spell their smoke means this gank is going to be somewhat of a fail. The net, in anger, toss it up against TC, not going to do too much. And that's 100 gold down the drain. And with Venomancer leaving a lane like that, that means Panda and of course Batrider be able to farm up a little bit on the ball. And yeah, you can see now Chaos Knight is a hero that's being a little bit more defensive. So very well done by the Dire team, surviving that gank and also driving the Venomancer off the lane like that.
Yeah, a lot of attention here being paid towards the runes by the Virtus Pro mix. 2 heroes checking both of the runes simultaneously while Queen of Pain sits mid. They really don't want to give Tiny runes, and that is a very smart decision. Very rune dependent. If he ever gets a Haste rune or a DD, even an Invis, Tiny just so devastated. I think Haste is probably the worst, just because his auto attacks hit so hard, and he can actually stay in range to get a couple off in a row. But he really benefits from the runes, and he needs them. The mana pool very low on him. Even if he goes for arcane boots until he gets them up. They're going to make initiation here on NS, but unfortunately with the disruption illusions, it will make the toss even harder to get off. He's not even going to attempt it. They'll be forced back.
There was a little bit of miscommunication. IX Mike didn't even drop the soul catcher, so maybe they were like, IX Mike thought he was just disrupting for a little bit of harass.
Yeah, I think
TC thought he was disrupting for the kill, and you know, it doesn't really matter. I don't think the kill would have been gotten even if the soul catcher was on top of the Queen of Pain, but you know, just missing a slight amount of damage for merely 50 mana. We do see Venomancer on the top lane here. He is a level 3, 1 point into each spell. I think they're looking for a kill right now, and here we go. Venomancer diving across. JR already stunned up. Gale is going to hit. JR's on cooldown on that Ghost Walk. He's going to invoke Cold Snap. Tower not really helping out. He's trying to go for the kill. Tower now helping out. Santa taking a lot of damage, but JR taking a little bit more. Back on the bot lane here. Batrider diving past, getting 1 kill. He's going to get a 2nd kill. That Firefly so strong. Chen came in for a gank, but Fluff and stuff just ate both of them up.
Wow, great turnaround. This is a hero that desperately needs to have the good start, is the Batrider. Really nicely played by Fluff and stuff. They do lose the Panda, but I think they'll be okay with that. Fluff and Stuff gonna have his ultimate up soon. And well, the Radiant lineup, for the most part, pretty squishy. If he can actually get in range to land that net, they could definitely bring heroes down. Also, killing off this Chen, he already did the smoke gank mid, that didn't work out. Now he dies bottom trying to gank, so he's level 3, no boots on him. If he had just farmed in the jungle, he'd easily be 4.5 or 5 at this point. And getting close to that ultimate, able to have 2 creeps, instead in no position to do anything but farm right now.
Yeah, I mean, judging from the fact I talked about how Radiant had some of the best lanes, they're only actually 3 and 2. I'm not sure whether that's a good start for them.
It's
I
really
personally
not.
don't think so. Yeah, and against a team like Fluff and Stuff's Complexity Squad, they have superior mid game. I feel like they have 4 heroes that is going to be high dominating, a lot of nukes, a lot of disables, and Shadow Demon is not shabby in any stage of the game. So walking past the 25-minute mark, Complexity's got a roster with 5 heroes that all could do a lot of dirty work.
Right, they have a lot of contributors, whereas I will say Virtus Pro's lineup is extremely powerful in those smaller scale engagements. If you're able to get 2-3 heroes on each side, they'll do really well. But when you get up to those larger 4-hero, 5-hero engagements, that's where they're going to struggle, especially against a Wex Invoker who's going to have that Tornado EMP. He's only level 6 at the moment, and he's gone for 3 points of cost just for the regen, which you need against Enigma. The Eidolon's doing a lot of damage. But once he starts getting more points of Wex, a lot of team fight from him, a lot of burst damage AoE from the Tiny, and of course the Panda ultimate. So I agree. They do have the better mid to late game line if they can execute it. Still, you can never really count out a Black Hole.
Virtus Pro pushing the bot lane, has a siege unit in position, and we do see the Chen creep coming in as well as the wards being stacked up. Meanwhile, on the other side of the tower, IXMI has rotated Hannah Montana in position as well, not level 6, and that's a key point in this engagement. Won't have the access into that Panda ult. One tower has been destroyed on the top lane, and you can see that right now, milking it, is that Invoker is just, hanging out, getting some last hit. I'm sure he does have the teleport scroll ready, and he does. And here we go, Disruption defensively against Panda. That should be fine. And the Black Hole is going to be casted on 3. Teleportation comes in from 2 other members of Complexity. Here comes CC. Oh my goodness, big avalanche on top of 2 or 3. They're going to focus on Chen, taking big damage right now. A single toss will be able to do it. Tornado picks him up in the air. And you can see that the AoE of Complexity fully online right now. A single teleportation from Tiny and another from Invoker. That's all they need to secure all that big victory. Meanwhile, Purple on the run right now, trying to pick off a couple heroes. And NS being so brave.
Oh, this is a ballsy move here by NS. But, traditionally the support player, he is actually taking a bit more of the active role because they are having the stand-ins, the different roster. But really not able to find the kills so far. And, well, this is a hard game for Queen of Pain. If you blink in, if you use that blink offensively, there's so many ways to kill you off. Tornado, Cold Snap, the Tiny Avalanche, even a Thunderclap, Disruption, Purge, a lot of disables. So it's a game where you need that Queen of Pain in the middle of the fights to give you burst, because Complexity is actually pretty tanky and pretty strong defensively. But if you blink in, you're likely to die. We're just sort of seeing NS unable to find the openings this far.
Yep. And also in that previous engagement, we saw the defensive power of that Disruption. They went on Panda. Panda suddenly got disrupted. 2 teleport came in, and the team fight went the other way. Now, they eventually got the tower, but it was a pricey one to get. And now they're trying to claim mid-tower as well. Here comes Batrider to really slow down this push. Panda now is level 6, so he's going to offer even more team fight for Complexity as it comes up. NS has the double damage rune in her bottle, and she might not be the best early game right clicker, but yeah, with the ability to blink and chase, and of course you have a Shadow Strike, so he is going to be doing quite a bit of physical DPS. And here we go. Can we pick her up in the air? Nope. Gonna force her to blink away.
No, not able to. I'm really glad you brought up the fact Panda wasn't even 6 in that fight, guys. And, well, they still stomped it. I mean, they did have all 5 heroes join the fight. It was a tower dive, so obviously it was a situation that was going to favor Complexity in general. But if the Panda ult was there, that could have gone a lot worse. And now Virtus Pro are going to have to be extra careful about their positioning. It feels like Complexity actually have, I would say, the edge of map control, but they're keeping the pace. And when you're up against Enigma, Chen, and Venomancer who's going wards, so much pushing power early on. And Complexity has really not suffered too much. They've lost 2 tier 1s. They haven't claimed one for themselves, but they're keeping the lanes pushed out. They have good wards by IXMike to help sort of give them vision and spot any ganks around. And when you pick this pushy lineup, we saw this yesterday. This is an all-in push, but it's a lot of push. You want to get 4 to 6 towers in the first, well, let's say 20-25 minutes or so. I'm not sure they're on pace to do it at this rate.
Well, I mean, I feel like all Radiant need to do is win a single team fight. They have so many pushing heroes, the Chen, the Enigma, and don't count out Chaos Knight with his Phantasm.
How are they going to win that?
I don't know. Go for a pick off or two. I mean, teams are known to be out of position from time to time, and we just saw Tiny almost getting picked off early on. We saw Reality Rift and a Chaos Bow. Unfortunately, Chaos Knight clicked on the wrong bow and stunned the creep instead. But, you know, things like that, if you get it correctly, you are going to get a kill. And suddenly that mid tower looks a lot easier to push down. Enigma in position as well. You can see the wards slowly inching across. Chen, by the way, not in position. They're setting up a gank on the bot lane against the Panda. Will it be able to... Let's see if Panda's going to be using his ultimate to get away. There's a 4-second Chaos Ball. Can you actually bring him down?
Oh,
Centaur Stomp. Nice chain and a Test of Fame. Look at the DPS output and the stun duration from the Chaos Knight. Casual Beastmaster Wars.
You said it, Lumi. The chain stun. That Centaur Stomp. If it had been just a split second earlier, Panda ult goes off. And at best, he survives. At worst, he turns around and kills your Chen. Who is level 6, so he might have been able to live there. But we're going to see an engagement on mid. Blink in from Santa. Already a Blink Dagger. Gets 2 in the black hole. The Queen of Pain ult on top of it. 2 big kills off the bat. NS, however, in a lot of trouble. Cold Snap gets pulled back in. I believe he will go down. No, set back to base by Chen. Tower dies. It is not denied. Queen of Pain set back. She will live. Great fight here so far from Virtus Pro. And Complexity wants to fight. The EMP going to drive back the Panda. Blink out from Santa, or was that a blink in? I have no idea where he came from, but he's going to get Jo as well with the earned 3 kills and a tower unanswered. They didn't bait out the Panda ult, so Complexity should be able to stave off a tier 2 push. But a great fight by Virtus Pro, and it was all about Santa with that early Blink Dagger.
Well, you asked how are they going to win those team fights? And Virtus Pro answered in spades. And there you go. The push is coming in. Phantasm being used, and here comes the Chen creep. Toss in from Hannah, and it looks like the ultimate is going to be used. They want Chen first. Chen's so squishy. He's going to get brought down. The Fire Panda is now on everybody's toe. And now there's a purge against the Chaos Knight. Chaos Knight trying to fight his way out. You know he's going to be dead, trying to do as much damage as possible and prevent his other teammates from dying. So that was a 2 for nothing, but tier 1 tower was destroyed. You forced out Panda ultimate from him right now. Meanwhile, Queen of Pain bottles the double damage, and if Complexity walks across the river to try to push this, you could bet you that the Radiant is ready to defend. Blink Dagger back out from Santa. Santa don't have... Ooh, what was that? We saw the toss. And then suddenly self-destruct because IX Mike said I was in the wrong neighborhood, man. And here comes the mid-tower push. The Dire Squad not nearly as good as in terms of power, but TC is going to be in huge trouble. Defensive disruption already on cooldown. Hannah now being on chase. We're going to have Blink coming off cooldown right now, and NS doing those big right-click whip. Oh, Tornado picking up 4. Will Hannah be okay? He's stunned up right now, and nice ward block from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 0. And meanwhile, Fluff and stuff will just firefly.
Oh, no,
he gets trapped in the trees, but do they know? I think they do. I think they see him right now. Fluff and stuff reveals himself. What a time to run out in a firefly, and that's another kill going in favor of Virtus Pro.
Oh man,
that was tough.
Lumi, I think my favorite part of that fight was IX Mike getting tossed in. That reminds me of Sage stream. He's like, oh hey man up, go in, and you know the player's like, no, don't fight. You know, whether it's Bambo or Yepas or whoever it is. And then when Sage's like, no, you're going in. And tosses him in, self-disrupt. Tornado here, they're going to try and fight under the shadow of the tower. No panel, Queen of Pain ult used. TC pretty tanky, 1200 HP. Is he going to go down? This is a huge dive. I don't think he is. Venomancer now in a lot of trouble. Tidy very, very low, but he will survive. The Purge on the Venomancer. The ult is dropped. Purge having a pretty low cooldown. You can use it in successive fights like this. And an overextension by Virtus Pro. Both teams taking turns overextending here, but hey, it makes for some good entertainment.
Yeah, it might be overextension, but this is hell fun to watch. And now back to the important thing. I wonder what Tiny's going to be getting. He just finished, he spent a lot of gold, and it seems like he's going for drums. I know he loves that kind of build, going for drums, Tiny. I'm not sure if he's even going to get the Blink Dagger. I've seen drums into Acceptor and just going to go like raw carry power. Just using the power of phase speed as well as drums to kind of be the mobile beast in the team fight, and forget about Blink.
Yeah, do you really need it? I mean, you've got the Tornado Invoker, you've got a Panda who presumably will be going for Blink, you've got Shadow Demon who's got decent initiation range with that Demonic Purge. Disruption's not too great, but it's alright. Batrider could go for a Blink as well, so I think this is a game where Tiny doesn't need to be the initiator, and he probably is the best carry on the team. Like I said, you could make a case for Invoker, so I think it's a good adjustment if he wants to skip the Blink. If you want a little utility, Force Staff is an option to help you know, keep your team out of harm's way and turn the chase around as well. You're up against a very mobile lineup, so utility item like that wouldn't be a bad option either. But TC, a lot of choices here. I guess the thing I would say is he's really not farming that well. 1, 2, and 5. 62 CS, 50 minutes. It's not bad, but he's gone for a lot of early utility items. He's not going to be rushing any damage. So this is the point of the game where Complexity really need to find that space to farm, and it looks like they're trying to do that now, not looking for any engagements.
I feel like any fight that TC doesn't die from the get-go is going to give them a lot of damage. As, you know, in the previous fights, he's either black holed up or he's, you know, stunned up by the Chaos Knight. All he has to do is not get initiated upon, and then he is going to provide his team a lot of burst damage. Now, that burst damage is going to get weaker as the game goes on. Hopefully, he could tie it over with a mid-game Axe Scepter and try to carry it from the physical side. But for now, they're doing okay. They're losing a couple of towers, but that's expected. We saw the lineup from the draft, and we knew Radiant's going to have a dominating early game. They didn't have it in the laning stage, but now they're kind of winning. They're protecting the tier 1 towers. They haven't lost any towers yet. And let's see how long they can hold on for these tier 1 towers. Because I feel like whenever the Complexity is deciding to take those tier 1 towers, it is a sign that they're going to be ahead.
You're most likely right about that. I will say right now, Virtus Pro are setting the pace, but I feel they have to. They can't afford to sit back and farm because Complexity, overall their lineup scales better with that farm. They scale better into the late game. So they really can't just trade farm. They have to go for pickoffs. They have to be aggressive. If they're not actually going to kill heroes, they need to seize map control, farm the enemy jungle, stay on the offense, and Fluff and Stuff on the bottom lane is smoked up. They want to go for Chaos Knight, but in from the rear comes Queen of Pain. Will she be in time? It doesn't look like it, and the Panda ult is available, so Queen of Pain is not actually going to be able to kill these heroes. Might try to bait out the Panda ult. The clap! Wow, look at the damage! Queen of Pain just melts, and while this is happening, the tier 3, or the tier 1 mid, excuse me, will be taking a lot of damage. Glyph has already been used by the Radiant, so they might be able to bring it down. Toss is available. Best way to last hit the tower is the toss. No, he tosses a creep, but the tornado actually traps it, so it doesn't land. It doesn't do the damage, but in the end, they get it anyway. Miscommunication, but it all works out for Complexity.
It's definitely fine. They got the last hit on the tower, and that gank on the bot lane definitely showcased how annoying sticky Napalm is. I'm sure Queen of Pain was trying to blink out, but it really slows down your turn rate as well as your cast animation and all that stuff. And, well, that's why she didn't blink out. It was really rough, and it's a hero that we don't see in pro games too often, and I always wonder why. He's such a strong ganker, especially in a mid-game situation like this. And really, Fluff and Stuff doing a very good job keeping his team in the game. Invoker on the top lane, farming it up. He's got the drums as well as phase. This is going to be a speedy demon dire squad. They're going to be running away from a lot of these engagement. They just can't catch up and get caught in a two-man block though, because that is definitely backbreaking. Santa earlier showed it to him.
Well, you know, you posed the question, why don't we see Batrider more in Dota 2? There's a couple of mechanical reasons. One of them is that Crystal Maiden, this is just a random example, but her Frostbite actually can hold him in place while he's Fireflied in Dota 2. That doesn't work in Dota 1. And I think there are a couple of other things along those lines which make him a little less Firefly, not quite as powerful as it is in Dota 1. But I think the main reason is Batrider is an initiator, but he's an initiator who has to be in the middle of the fight. He doesn't have huge strength gain like a hero like Chaos Knight or a Panda. He doesn't have an you know, sort of an F-off ultimate where he can, you know, get out of harm's way like the Panda ult. So he's a hero that needs the good start and doesn't necessarily benefit as much from it. But in the right lineup with the you know, other initiators, the burst damage, I feel like this is the perfect supporting cast for a Batrider to be effective. Sure, the lanes weren't great, but now that they've gotten to the mid game, okay. Now you have the Invoker to set things up, the Tiny, the Panda, the Shadow Demon, if you get into trouble, can help keep you alive too. So I think it's a lot about finding the right lineup for him, and this is a game where I think Complexity have found it.
Yeah, to echo your points a little bit, that he's the same reason that we don't see heroes like Clock in the meta game too often. Again, a hero that kind of have to get into the thick of things. And to be honest, heroes aren't just that tanky. Like, teams are so good at focus firing people down. And it's very surprised that Batrider's only got one death so far. And that one death was him getting trapped in the trees. I'm not sure even if that's a fair death. So Fluff and Stuff, I feel like he's playing overall a very, very strong game.
He's playing really well.
He's got the blink being a support bat. I mean, you can't ask for anything else.
Support suicide lane, dual lane with a Panda off bat. I was about to say off lane as well, just for good measure. But yeah, it was not a good lane for them, and he still did very well. It's really been these mid-game fights where Complexity just found the openings. That being said, they are a bit behind here in terms of gold. They're even in XP, which is something they'll be happy about. They need it a lot more than the Radiant side. The key for Complexity is going to be hold on to these tier 2s. If they can do that for the next, say, 5, 10, maybe even 15 minutes, they're going to be in fantastic shape. They'll be able to get those core items and the necessary levels up to win the big engagements. However, if you can knock down those towers as Virtus Pro, then you have map control. You can maybe look for Roshan. You can farm the enemy jungle. You can set up ganks much easier, and Complexity will have a harder time responding. So that's really the major point of contention, the hot zone for this game. It's going to be these tier 2s over the next 5 to 15 minutes.
buff and stuff, pops his Firefly a little bit prematurely, and that means he won't be, well, he's gonna use the fire on the ground trying to slow down this push, but that's a very expensive way to do so, as it does have a fairly long cooldown. If Dire wants to make it go right now, he won't have his best spell, well, best offensive spell, if in a sense. And here comes the pressure on tier 2, there's a glyph of fortification. Top tower is going to get pushed down by complexity. Meanwhile, the batrider now going on the left side, tornado EMP being dropped off. But I think this tower will be brought down. Hannah blinks in right now. He's going to get stunned by 2 seconds. Hannah's going to get black held up. TC is going to be the next one to focus. Nice defensive disruption. Hannah pops his ultimate before dying. TC's dead right now. I'm not sure if he's buying back. Meanwhile, everybody on full retreat. They see NS. They grab NS. NS will be brought down. Yes, 1-for-1 trade so far. But again, the tower goes down. Panda's on the chase. But really, did you see Enigma? If you actually... Uh-oh. Hannah, you're in big...
Oh, what a blink!
Right now. Meanwhile, JJJ gets picked up in the air. Santa blinks after Panda to follow, and he's going to pull it out just fine. Venomancer got picked off in the thick of things as well, so that was a 1-for-2, but tower went down. So I still think that Radiant came out ahead in that engagement.
Yeah, but that was a clutch disruption by IX Mike. If Panda didn't get his ult off there, they're losing a lot more than the 2 heroes, or excuse me, the 1 hero on the complexity side. They're also not getting that second kill. So really nice job by IX Mike disrupting the hero that's in the black hole. I guess he might have been able to disrupt the Enigma though. Maybe he used it right before the black hole went off. I didn't catch the timing, but either way, keeps the is able to keep the Panda alive. Panda gets the ult off, and from there, a nice escape at the last second by Hannah Montana with that blink away and the TP out. So I agree. Overall, slight advance to the Radiant, but it could have been so much worse for complexity. And to me, that's the real takeaway point. They're going to go on to mid lane. They want Jo, but he is too damn fast. And now the Purge onto Sansa. No black hole. He can't turn around and fight this. And he's eating cold snap. It will be enough. Tornado as well. EMP on top of it. They're going to get the kill. They're not done yet. Venomancer forced back. Blink and clap. Great chasing here for complexity. TC joins the fight, and he has that drum that you talked about now. IX Mike fighting off the illusions. Are they done yet? Another blink in by Fluff and stuff. Mass blink daggers and the Wex invoker. Nobody can escape from this. You're done too. And he gets picked off. And now complexity. 3 kills to their name. I love the way complexity is playing. Whenever that black hole is down, it's just a completely different style of play. They're so much more aggressive. They're not defending their tier 2. They're diving deep into enemy territory. And with those early blink daggers, they definitely have the tools to do it.
And when you say early blink daggers, only 2, and of course Tiny could pick up 1 more. They're just so mobile. 2 phase boosts, 2 drums, the 2 blinks, and of course the heroes are great chasing in their own right as well. Like Shadow Demon, once he gets enough range, he could disrupt you. Panda has a clap if he's really close. If not, he has his drum can haste. Of course, we don't need to speak too much about his Panda form, as he is one of the best chasing heroes in the game when that happens. So winning that small scale engagement on the mid lane, they're going to transition to the bot to get a push. And suddenly the contention of about towers, complexity's right catching right back up. They're only losing 1 extra tower right now as the tier 2 on the bottom. But they just have to win a couple more team fights. And if you look at TC right now, there's nothing about Blink on his stash. It is an Ogre Club. Whether that thing goes into a BKB or Acceptor is our guess. Your guess. Your guess is as good as mine. I'm guessing it's going to be the Acceptor. But if he feels like he needs BKB, it's not a bad choice either.
Either way, up top, Jo eats the Gale, and he's going to try to TP out. The ult from Quap is used. Will not be enough. He escapes. And 2 ults used, 2 big anti-push ults that are not available, and as a result, complexity charging back into the bottom lane. They have the Panda ult up, and if you're Virtus Pro right now, all you can do is look for the trade. You cannot fight even these 3 heroes. That Panda ult way too powerful. They're also going to look to pressure mid. Sansa gets the tier 2 mid, and that is... If they could actually get both tier 2s in exchange for their own bottom, especially without these ults up, they'll be happy about it. But Hannah Montana is going to TP back. They're going to at least look to defend this top tier 2. TC in position as well. The ward CG up. The Chen creeps doing what they can. The Tornado will be joining the party. Although at this point, the Tornado doesn't offer a whole lot. It is very slow. And probably not going to be able to keep it on top of these heroes. Good for the Vision, however. In the end, they do force Virtus Pro back at the expense of a couple TPs. The tier 2 bottom also went down. Fluff and stuff. Spots out NS here. Actually, I think he just saw him running through middle lane. They don't have a ward, and great. This is a bad game for Queen of Pain. It's normally very difficult to lock down, but Batrider with Blink, Panda with Blink, Shadow Demon, Invoker with all their lockdown. This Queen of Pain is dying a lot. 3 deaths at this point, it's a lot, because she is... if not the hard carry, then certainly the semi-carry on this team. And normally she's so difficult to kill, Lumi.
I feel like this is one of those games you rush a Black King Bar. It's an item that will keep you safe. Sure, it's going to limit your growth as a Hex carrier or as getting the Acceptor or Lincoln Sphere, whatever she's trying to get. I assume she's trying to get a Hex, but she's going to be so far away from that. A BKB just render you so much more effective in team fights. It ensures you basically surviving every one of these team fights. And doing a lot of damage in return. 3-man smoke gang from Complexity. When they're feeling they have a slight advantage, this is exactly what Complexity will do. They see Santa on the top lane. He blinks out. The question is, will he know to TP out? Tornado picks him up in the air. He has a BKB, and he can BKB TP, and he will do so. But that's a slight win for the Dire Squad, I feel like. Even though BKB isn't the most important thing for Enigma, like how it is very important for a carry, it's still good to actually train this.
It's also on cooldown now, and that might be the bigger issue. Is now they can look to push.
And Fluff, of course, just popped out of smoke. And he has 4 staff as well, man. Look at this Complexity squad. They will chase you down. If they see you, you're dead.
This is where you get 5 Masks of Madness, just for the extra move speed from it. No, I'm kidding about that, of course. But we'll have to see if they look to go mid. I think they're going to. And Sansa, without the BKB, could easily drop. Hanamontana lurking in the trees, try to bait the high ground here. NS is going to oblige, walks right up. Santa blinks and immediately catches them both. No Panda ult at the moment. I believe there's a defensive disruption in the middle of this. No, someone sent back to base by the Chen. Santa running for his life. And a lot of AoE damage. Will it be enough from Virtus Pro? Queen of Pain gets burst down. Everyone on Complexity surviving. I don't even think they have a mechanism here, let alone a pipe, and they're still tanking all this magical damage. It does drop them very low. They will be forced back. The urn going to come in handy if they want to continue the fight. Hanamontana as well running another blink in from Santa, but where's the damage here? It's all burst, and it's not enough burst right now for Virtus Pro. They're just not able to secure these kills, and they had everyone from Complexity survive. They did bait out a Panda ult in exchange for Queen of Pain death. Not a bad trade, not a great one either, though.
Yeah, I mean, they used all their ultimates, and all they got was a Queen of Pain kill. They did initiate on her right from the get-go, and it's good that they got her. But that black hole, you can see that without the BKB, is still effective in terms of shutting people down. But I think the most important thing you pointed out, after that burst damage from Complexity, they're done. So until Tiny starts to pick up some physical DPS item, until Invoker starts to venture over that side for physical DPS or get a little bit more disabled, whether by picking up a Yule Scepter or a Hex Stick, they just have to rely on that burst, and so far the burst has been getting less and less effective as the game progresses.
You know, it's funny. Well, the Aghanims is up on Tiny now, so that's a lot of sustainable right-click damage. I was actually talking about Virtus Pro. I mean, where's their damage? This Queen of Pain is an ultimate orb. I guess there's the armlet on the CK, but he doesn't get to auto-attack in these team fights. He's getting chain stunned, chain slowed, disabled, CC'd, and unable to do anything. So I was actually talking about Virtus Pro. I think they're the ones who really lack the sustainable damage. And that's going to get caught again. Another death for him. Consistently caught out of position this game. Sansa will be forced to TP out. Deafening Blast, 4 staff in from long range. Jo not going to be able to latch on with that.
Yeah, I guess if you compare it directly to the Dire Squad, Radiant has far less burst damage. And we saw how quickly that Queen of Pain went. And you talked about how dangerous for Queen of Pain is to blink in like that, and we witnessed that one more time. And really, I still believe it was such a poor item choice to skip out on the BKB. And Complexity is winning this mid-game. Like I said earlier, if Complexity can survive for the first 20 minutes without going into big deficit mode, yeah, they're going to be right back. And now Roshan being claimed up. Who's going to pick up the Aegis? It is going to be Tiny. Immediate smoke in the Roche Pit. So many good teams do this. And suddenly you roam as an offensive ganking party out of that smoke. And the team sometimes are just not prepared for it. But teams nowadays are getting better and better. It's becoming a common thing to do that smoke in the pit and try to roam for the ganks.
Well, it is, but Complexity is hot on the scent. They know, they see one hero top. They know he's not alone. They're going to all smoke up and head up towards that top lane. Firefly to get the advantage on the high ground. They just smoked on the side of Virtus Pro. Tornado catching out one. Batrider held in place by the net and stunned as well, I believe. So it doesn't look like stun was used. Venomancer being locked down. He will go down. Big rock with a big stick in the thick of things, and he brings down Chaos Knight as well. And Sansa looks to TP out. Forced to get use the BKB. No, the Batrider holds him in place. Another kill here against Virtus Pro. 4 heroes dead. Queen of Pain, the lone survivor, because she didn't even fight. She went bottom to try and farm what looks to be a Hex. Oh, this is not looking good for Virtus Pro.
Oh man, one of those games where your carry is the biggest DPS stealing in the team fight, but has to go farm because died too many times and need to catch up on items. But I want to really point back to what you said, Armlet Phantasm and its DPS output. Panda was at full HP, blinked and got reality, and dropped down to red immediately because of the crits and whatnot, and died to a chaos spell.
He's 20.
He has evasion. He's a strength hero. He has a bracer. He has a point booster. And yeah, that just goes back to how powerful that Chaos Knight is. Now, with that said, we also quickly saw he quickly went down because one cleave from Tiny in an avalanche, all those illusions died, and a couple more hits from Tiny. His hero himself died too. So, as awkward as it sounds, Chaos Knight is being the glass cannon in these team fights.
Yeah, maybe you just embrace that, get the Mask of Madness, try and avoid the team fights. But at this point in the game, it's so hard. Here's the problem: like early in the game, you can look to try and avoid the team fights, go for the split pushes. But now Complexity just have too much mobility. The Blink Daggers, the Force Staff, the Wex Invoker. Tiny actually has very high move speed because his ultimate increases his move speed, and then he has the phase boots on top of it, moving at around 400 here. Yeah, without using the phase boots. He's almost running with a haster when he uses them. It's very difficult to run away from him as well. The only hero you could try to escape is IX Mike, but even then, Demonic Purge is a pretty good range, so you just can't... These guys, even if they're a bit out of position on the Complexity side, they can get into position in time. It's so hard to catch anyone out.
Yep. Just for the sake of Virtus Pro, hope NS don't blink in to start initiating. He's so close to
He can't do that.
There's
no way.
He's got his tech, so let's see if this is the item that will kind of be a momentum swing. I mean, if you go for some key pickoff, that is a very good item to have to pick off heroes like a Panda, pick off Tiny before they drop their combo. So it's actually a very key item pickup, and boy, it took him a long time, 30 minutes to actually get it, but he's gotten it.
Yeah, speaking of key item pickups, we really haven't had a whole lot of time to look at them, but let's try and do it now. Blink Dagger Force Staff, 2 Force Staffs on Jo and Fluff and Stuff, Blink Daggers on Fluff and Stuff and Hannah Montana. We've talked about those. Aside from that, Tiny with the Aghanim's, how much gold does he have in the bag? 2,700. What do you go for here? I mean, Daedalus, Mask of Madness, BKB, there's a lot of options. At this point, it looks like they want him to be the right-click damage dealer. Sansa trying to TP out. Fluff and Stuff finds him. Again, another pick off for Complexity. As though they didn't have enough already, Lumi.
To answer your question, I think TC will go So Curious. I've seen him play Tiny a couple of times. That's always this build. Earlier when you said, oh man, this is a great adjustment, he always goes this build, no matter what game, what hero, what lane, what kind of farm he has, just skips a Blink Dagger outright, just face drums, axe, face drums, axe, face drums, axe, in that same order. And yep, that Hyperstone gets picked up. He is going to go Acceptor right now. And with that kill against Enigma, they don't have to worry about him for a long time, and that means a tier 2 push. Let's see if Complexity is going to back up after this.
The combination of Alacrity on this time is just outrageous. So much attack speed. Venomancer will get picked off. The buyback is forced, but one more right click. A quarter of the HP down the drain. They're actually going to back off here. I have a feeling Complexity might look to turn around, maybe waiting for this ult to wear off so they can use some urns and heal up. Yeah, there goes one urn as well as the Arcane Boots. I think they're going to go back in. The Aegis is available as well. They've got so much initiation and so many heroes they can be locked down on the Virtus Pro side. Oh, Chad, be very, very careful, my friend, if you want to survive to fight another day. TC back in the fray. Another urn should be coming off cooldown in a couple of seconds. This is the power of an urn for sustaining pushes. They don't have a mech. They don't have a pipe, but it seems to be okay in the end for them anyway.
Yeah, it takes a long while to really get your HP back up, but you know, if you survive a gank or something like that, or if you win a small clash and want to go for a tower push, that's one of the better items to have. And look at the damage output. One hit just brings out a whole bunch of HP on the tower, and Tiny is going to get it right now. Team fight, they find JJJ, they want to pick him down. Soul Catcher on top, blink in, and they're going to get the kill. Tiny on a mega kill streak. Enigma didn't want to go in there, because without the backup, he's going to be dead very, very soon. And now Complexity, I think it's fair to say that they are dominating right now, right?
It is, and you know, the gold graph, the experience graph, it's not actually the biggest deficit on the gold side, but the experience is where there is a huge difference. If you look at the levels over here for Virtus Pro, still no level 16 on the Enigma, still no level 16 on the Chaos Knight, and especially on Aquita Payne, who's been farming almost all game. I mean, she's died a couple times, but when she's not dying, she is pretty much farming and trying to avoid team fights. At this point in the game, you really want to see another item being worked on in addition to this Scythe of Ice. This is not good farm for NS, and it's because he keeps on getting picked off. Nice aggressive wards placed here by Complexity as well. They're really trying to maintain the map control, maintain their advantage, and I expect to see them go for another push soon. Assault Cuirass up on now on TC. I don't think they need anything else. Can you think of anything?
I mean, I don't know, but this is complexity. They love to take the game ultra late mode and get more and more item. They're in a very, very good position, and I'm glad that you brought out how the EXP chart is not really showing what it should be showing. I feel like the thing about this EXP chart is you got to keep in mind that Radiant was actually leading by quite a bit in one point, and it's just a big swing of things. That Santa blinks in ahead. Does he have a BKB TP? He does, but Fluff on top, and this is what, the 4th time we've seen something like this. Big TC in position, 2 hits. My God.
He has used one BKB charge offensively, I want to say, and the rest of them he's tried to escape, and then it doesn't work because Batrider is always there with the ultimate.
Yep.
Fluff and stuff has been in the right position at the right time so often this game, and if you're this Enigma, you're not very happy right now. I can tell you that for sure. Complexity. Oh, long range tornado. They're thinking about pushing mid. They might do it anyway. With the Enigma down, the BKB, I believe it's down to 5 seconds now. No, it's still at 7. Okay, so yeah, he has used it every time defensively then. But they're going to push. They should be able to get the beauty of having the Aghanims on this Tiny is you can mow down towers, especially with Alacrity on him. Only takes about 4 or 5 seconds to bring a tower from full to nothing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6.
It's about 6 hits. About 6 hits you can sit on the tower. And with the help of Invoker and the creep wave, that's all they needed. 6 hits. My goodness. And now he's got himself a haste rune. So.
Oh, this is gonna be bad. This is not gonna go well for Virtus Pro. I have a sick feeling in the pit of my stomach for them. You can't run from him.
for the sake of Radiant, they have some decent stun. I mean, Malefice is not bad against a melee hero. Chaos Bolt in theory could always be great, and you have a Hex and Queen of Pain. Now the question is, who do you actually focus? Do you focus on the Panda, who is always a nuisance in a team fight, or you focus TC, who is primarily the biggest at DPS, or do you focus some of the other supports, like the Batrider or the Invoker, if you could say Invoker is a support, but he's mostly on support duty, dropping Alacrity, things like Ice Wall, EMP Tornado, that nature.
Well,
so we actually focus. I'm not sure.
This is the beauty of Complexity's lineup is, although the 3 key heroes here are the Invoker, the Tiny, and the Panda, but the problem is that the Shadow Demon is so good defensively. Oh, they're gonna go for NS up top, caught out again. He will go down. Haster used by Tiny, but he's actually not gonna be there in time. They're smoked up. They're still gonna try and fight this. Even the buyback from NS. This is a desperation buyback because they weren't in danger of losing racks. They just really want to get some momentum going their way with using the smoke. They're going to make a go at Jo. We'll have to see. He is caught out a bit out of position here. Will it be enough? The Reality Rift not able to get in range. He keeps on trying to. Finally it gets up, but the Deafening Blast going to prevent that. Black Hole on 2. Decent Black Hole. Defensive disruption on Jo. Will it be enough? Tiny joins the fight. A lot of damage from him. The Avalanche and the right clicks doing so much. Hex up, as well as a Purge onto 1-2 here. Looks like he should be going down. Chen sends him back, won't be in time. Chen now running for his life. Ping Bing in the worst possible location. Tornado catches him out. He is completely dead. And that is 4 for nothing. They didn't even lose the Aegis. That's the power of that disruption. They catch out the Invoker, and then you just disrupt the Invoker, and he lives.
Yep. And of course, even during that black hole, Tiny just waited patiently outside. He's like, I can't really go in. So he waited, and once that black hole's over, man, Superman online, or Hulk online, I guess he's more of a Hulk, and he just went in
a little bit of both.
And smacked the hell out of everybody. Roshan's back, and let me tell you, Roshan's going to die very quick here.
Bold predictions coming out from the Luminous, one of the most risk-taking casters.
That's what they put the press for. Heavy analysis, Roshan quick.
Indeed, Roshan will melt to the power of these right clicks, and another Aegis for TC. He didn't even lose it in the last fight. It just disappeared. So 10 minutes of not dying at all, not even losing the Aegis. I think they have the advantage to go mid. If they did it before, they certainly do now. There's really not an item that you can point to that they're lacking. Panda's got the Aghanims, he's got the Blink, Tiny's got the AC and the Aghanims. They're all level 16 aside from IX Mike, and he's almost there himself, so Complexity really don't need to wait for anything else. Maybe go for a smoke gank, which they certainly love to do, or just a pick off with this Invis rune, and then it's time to get the Rex.
It definitely feels like this is one of those, what you call official scrim. Virtus Pro, I mean, they've been out of position from time to time. We're going to see a big fight, but Tiny in position. Look at the hits. Oh my god. That was Avalanche toss and 2 hits.
My favorite
2 hits.
My favorite part about that fight was the Sunstrike at the end, and TC's like lol and just kills the guy about 800 units away from JO's Sunstrike, which might have hit if Enigma had been able to keep on running. But you know, just trying to add every possible element to the fight, as bring as much firepower to Bale as possible, and the GGs come out. This was over, guys. Even though this is one of those games where you haven't lost racks, but you're going to, and it's only a matter of time. So, well played by Complexity.
TC could probably destroy the throne before it times out by itself, you know?
I think
it does take a while.
Well, we saw Dendy a couple months back get 3 sets of racks off of 1 good team fight as an Aghanim's Tiny. And I think TC has more items now than Dendy did in that match. So, here
Definitely.
we go.
He has alacrity, and I don't think Dendy had it in that game. Look at TC working on those racks. It's like paper.
It's like 4 hits for that ranged Rax. 4 hits for it. It's a Rax, guys. Sometimes you'll see a Rax take like a 5-minute sustained siege to bring it down. This is...
Hello, Chinese Dota.
Tiny is a one-man trebuchet. He really is. Yep. Although it's more of a battering ram because he's not flinging stuff from afar. He's up there smashing it with his big club.
And TC working on skull per minute right now because getting all these towers, getting last hit. Oh yeah, he's looking at look at him go. 1 hit on buildings.
He
no
can
problem.
almost one-shot the buildings.
Yeah.
Yeah, the throne gonna die.
He might even destroy the throne before the game ends. This is insane.
No, oh, not quite enough. That's where you need maybe the last command is for the Divine Rapier to get it done. But great performance by Complexity. I have to say, a rather dominating one.
That's game 1 of the best of 3 series between the 2 teams. We're going to be coming back for game number 2 momentarily. So for LD and Luminous for now, we are signing off. But don't go anywhere, guys. Game 2 coming your way.